It's Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz, along with Michelle Banache and Michelle. There I go. Michelle, where are we headed to next? It's been a long day.
Seriously. We are going to Kalamazoo, and we're talking with Renee Newman, Director of Marketing and Communications for Discover Kalamazoo. And Renee, thanks so much for being on the show with us. And Kalamazoo is really a fun city that has a lot to offer.
We really do. It's it's surprising. People are always surprised at everything that Kalamazoo has to offer for a city its size.
Well, I went to Western, as you know, and I say this all the time. This sounds so horrible. I know it is, but many years ago, we're talking like a long time ago, when I went to school in Kalamazoo just wasn't all that. I mean, it really wasn't. It was a okay town, but it wasn't very cool. I will tell you that Kalamazoo is one of my favorite cities to visit now because it is just a cool place.
It has really, we hear your exact same story all the time. People who went to school here, it wasn't all that back when I went to school.
Yeah.
The transformation that has gone on here is absolutely amazing. And we hear it from people who had been here in the past, and we hear it from people who are visiting here for the first time who are really surprised at everything that we have to offer.
Well, let's talk about kind of just the general downtown area of Kalamazoo and what seems to make it such a fun place to visit.
Well, it's our downtown area, what we affectionately call the Kalamazoo Mall, was the very first pedestrian mall built in the country. Since then, we've opened it up to one lane of traffic. We still call it the Kalamazoo Mall, and even though it's not a pedestrian mall, we still have 160 stores and restaurants and boutiques, all up and down, kind of in our downtown area. And what makes it so special to me is the people. You're going to hear me say that time and again about Kalamazoo. It's just the people. We're a very warm, welcoming group of people, and we have some fantastic restaurants that focus on local cuisine. As I mentioned, the stores that are down here are the boutique stores. It's not going to be something that you find at a large mall. It's the personalized attention that you're going to get in downtown Kalamazoo.
Well, and I will add on to your comment about the people. I agree, and I think one of the reasons why Kalamazoo is such an appealing place to me is it is a place that has so many university, college kids and young people there, and it just kind of brings a certain energy to the downtown area.
Oh, it really does. We have Western, as you mentioned. We also have Kalamazoo College here, and we have a number of other smaller universities in the area. But you're exactly right about those college kids. They just bring a vibrancy and an energy, and any time that school is in session, they just infuse all this energy into our downtown area, and we love the town to gown that we have with our universities.
I always have to ask about restaurants and such, and Michelle will bring up the microbrews later, I know. But tell us about some of the restaurants that are pretty unique in Kalamazoo.
Well, some of them that we have, Food Dance for one of them. This is a restaurant that has been in downtown for a number of years, and they really focus on what we call the farm to fork. The back of their menu, if you can get past all their wonderful sounding food that they have and read the back of their menu, they tell you where all the ingredients come from. So you know exactly what farms they're utilizing. You know where your lettuce is grown. You know where your pork chop comes from. It's just a really unique environment there. We also have one of my favorite, and we'll talk about microbrews here in a bit, but it's called the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange. As far as we know, it's a one-of-a-kind here that we've found anywhere in the Midwest. It is where you can buy your beer based on like a stock market price. So if you go in and you order a Coors Light, your Coors Light, based on how many people are potentially buying that drink, may cost you more than a really good, fine, handcrafted brew. So it's all about what people are ordering determines the price of the beer at that point in time. And just about every hour they have a market crash, and that's where you can buy your beer at rock bottom prices. It's a lot of fun to go in, and if you get a big group together, you can really make those prices start to fluctuate in your favor while you're there. But really unique environment at the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange.
That is something I will be checking out.
Yeah, it's a very cool place.
Well, what are the other kind of microbreweries that are best known in Kalamazoo?
Well, Well, the best known here in Kalamazoo is, of course, Bell's Beer. They're, the largest microbrew in the state of Michigan. And they have they opened up a new production facility over in Galesburg that is now offering tours. You can find that information on our site a little bit later. But they also have their Eccentric Cafe that's located right downtown, and that's where you get to try a lot of the beers that aren't normally bottled and shipped other places. So they always have something like 20 different beers on tap at their downtown location. It's also a site for live bands, and they have fantastic, just simple, good, organic food available there as well. So that's a big one for us. Old Peninsula here in Kalamazoo, it was actually Kalamazoo's first brew pub, believe it or not, but they also offer some fantastic beer and food. We've got a couple that are scheduled to open here. Boatyard Brewery is going to be opening in 2013, and Arcadia Ales, which is right now based in Battle Creek, is opening a brewery here in Kalamazoo as well.
Well, it's a real reason to travel these days. People are looking for really cool microbrews. So
absolutely.
Good to hear that. Well, of course, a lot of great hotel rooms in the Kalamazoo area. I do have to, you call it, do a shout out. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the least cool person in the room, but I have to mention the Radisson in downtown Kalamazoo. It's the finest Radisson I have ever seen anywhere in the world, and just a great place with great restaurants and great amenities and fantastic. But probably the big news for Kalamazoo when it comes to attractions these days is that the Gilmore Car Museum is going to be opening now year-round.
They are open year-round. They actually built a brand-new heritage center, which allows them to go from what was a seasonal attraction now to a year-round attraction. And they just broke ground on a new museum that's going in out there. This place is growing by leaps and bounds out at the Gilmore Car Museum. And, some people may think, oh, it's old cars, what would I, I'm not really into cars. You have to go. I can't stress that enough. It is just such a fantastic place. It's all set on 90 rolling acres, and all the buildings are either historic red barns that have been disassembled and then put back in place on the Gilmore Car Museum grounds, or they're new buildings that are built to replicate like old car dealerships. It's just the attention to detail on everything in this museum is just fantastic. And they have about 200 cars on display, everything from one of the only Tuckers up to the Lincolns and the air-cooled cars. It's a gorgeous facility.
As you mentioned, those barns are worth visiting, just the buildings themselves, even if you're not into cars.
There's something for everybody to see out there.
Yeah. And, of course, the other, probably maybe the best-known attraction in Kalamazoo would be the Air Zoo. Anything new there that people need to be aware of?
Well, last year they opened their East Wing edition, which is it's a new space exhibit that they have going on out there, and also offers a permanent exhibit on women in aviation. So that's, while it may not be exactly new, it's new to a lot of people coming to town that they have not seen that particular facility yet.
Yeah, and the Air Zoo, remind me where it is located, both the Air Zoo and Gilmore, quickly.
The Air Zoo is located actually in Portage, which is about 7 miles from downtown Kalamazoo, and Gilmore Car Museum is out in Hickory Corners. That's a little bit farther drive, but beautiful scenery on your drive out there.
Well, I just can't talk about Kalamazoo enough. I really do think it's one of the neatest places to visit, and recommend you check it out. If you've not been to Kalamazoo lately, you will have a great time discovering all the things that are Kalamazoo. And if you'd like more information, all you have to do is go to Discover Kalamazoo. I want to thank Renee Newman, Director of Marketing and Communications for Discover Kalamazoo, for helping us out today. And seriously, check it out. You're going to have a great time. I want to thank Mark Blackwell for engineering today's program, because we are out of time. And on behalf of George Zimmerman, who wasn't here today, and on behalf of Michelle Banache, who was, and myself, Dave Lorenz, I want to thank you for joining us today, and invite you to join us next week, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.